Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you've been having a good summer, and I'm back again with a new video. Today I am trying out these art supplies for the first time. So first I'm showing you is the acrylic paint pens, which I'm going to do some swatches for. I love it when art supplies come with swatch sheets. That's the best thing ever. And so yeah, I'm trying these out. These are literally like Posca pens, and yeah, the nibs are nice because you can interchange them as well. So you can change the bullet nib for a chisel tip. You just got to pull out the little nib. But yeah, so these come in 2 sizes, so you only get 24 colors in this set. However, you get 2 markers for each color. One of them is the smaller tube, which is really tiny, which is really nice for the small details. And then you get this big broad one for bigger details, bigger areas. It's really nice. But yeah, so the way to make these pens come out is by pressing the nib down onto the paper, which makes the ink flow out. But first you got to shake it, and then when you do that it should come out nice and smooth. Usually what happens is the ink is sitting in the actual pen for a while, so obviously the ink kind of separates sometimes, so you always got to shake these. So when doing these swatches and making each pen, pressing it down to make all the ink flow, I noticed how easy it was to press it down, which was so nice because you didn't have to strain your hand. It wasn't overwhelming. It's so easy. They press so nicely, so that was really nice. This yellow, the second yellow that I'm doing, I noticed that, I don't know why, but the ink had already bled to the nib, which didn't really make a difference. So I did the swatches on both the white and the black just so that I could see the opacity of the pens, and to be honest, these pens are really saturated, which was a really nice surprise. The colors are really clean. They don't look muddy or milky or anything like that, which was really nice. Now onto swatching the pupe markers. So this is what I was the most excited. So Ohuhu sent me these and I'm so grateful. I can't believe it. I've been using Ohuhu art supplies since like 2019, always buying my own, of course. This is the very first collab that they've sent me, and I just can't believe it. I'm in absolute awe. I never thought this was going to happen, and yeah, because it's such a brand that I admire so much, so it was completely amazing. So I prepared this sketch which I'm going to be colouring in with these. I was so excited about the pupe markers because I saw the reviews a while ago, probably like a year or so ago, and yeah, so what the pupe markers are is basically like alcohol markers, but they're water based, and I think the closest comparison is Tombow markers, I believe. Don't quote me on that because I haven't used Tombow markers before, and I do think these are similar by the visuals that I've seen other artists using the Tombows. I think they kind of work very similar. However, using these was so easy. The color selection is incredible. There's 60 colors, which makes the selection and the blending and the overall like building on the colors so easy. I love when there's a bigger color selection, especially for like these type of markers where you have to be layering them to make them work and stuff, which is really nice. I'm so happy with these. I love the texture that they create. I think it's so nice and like just visually pretty, like the little like, I don't know how to explain it, like the grainy texture. That's one of the things that I really love about the alcohol markers. Just like, I don't know, there's just something a little bit different with them, if that makes sense. So I do love the way that they overlap. You can build the color, you can make the color a lot richer and just make it, I don't know, like just build on it. I think it's such a nice idea. So these are so much more simpler to use. You don't have to do anything. I would advise shaking them, but you don't have to do anything. You don't have to press anything. You don't have to do literally anything other than taking the lid off, and you can straight up use it. So you get 2 lids for these, and each side has a different nib. So one of the nibs is obviously the brush nib, which I've been using pretty much throughout this whole piece, and then on the other side you've got like a little fine liner, which is really handy to use. You can use these to write, to journal. I've already used them in all loads of different ways, and they're extremely fun. I've had a great time because they just double up as 2 art supplies, because you've got such a nice broad color range that you can use these in so many ways. It's amazing. Another thing, the colors that come in this set, like I mentioned, there's 60 colors, and all the colors are so vibrant, they're so bright, and I don't know, like it's so nice and easy to build upon. Some of the colors were a little bit confusing because the way that the color on the lids themselves doesn't really match up with the color when you lay it down, which was really interesting because there's these 2 colors which just don't match the colors that are shown on the swatches, which is funny, but other than that it's not a problem. Once you get used to the colors and like what you're looking for, it's easy going. So I made this piece specifically to kind of test out how intricate I can go with it. I left some areas which don't really need much detail, like the flowers and the plant part, like the background as well. And then I added some like a lot smaller details. I drew this with just a regular color pencil, and yeah, just wanted to kind of like go in and test out how the markers work. Another interesting thing is that these are advertised to not bleed through paper. So I am currently using the Ohuhu sketchbook, which was kindly gifted to me when I was still streaming on Twitch by my lovely friend Acrylic. And yeah, so this sketchbook is an Ohuhu. I believe it might be the alcohol marker sketchbook or the mixed media sketchbook, but they're literally the same thing. I don't think there's much of a difference, if I'm honest, in the paper. It's extremely smooth, very thick, very massive sketchbook. I believe it weighs around 1 kilogram. I love these sketchbooks. I've had 3 and I'm so close to finishing this one. And yeah, the paper is just completely white and so nice to use. And these are specifically made for like alcohol markers, so I just wanted to like really see and test out and take this piece to the limit to see in the end how much has bled through, and you will see that later, which is really interesting to test, because especially when you're using alcohol markers, they do still bleed through this paper. Unfortunately, I feel like it's just something that is so hard to control unless you like coat the paper or coat one of the sides or the it's just something, but it does really hold up the alcohol markers really well too. And yeah, we'll see how well it holds up these. I'm going in a little bit of mixed media, so I'm adding some of the little paint pens as well, just for these extra details, these little white dots and the yellow dots, just so that I can bring out some extra layers of fun and color. Okay, so this is how much bled through. As you can see, not a lot at all, which was extremely exciting, because that means that you can use these pupe markers on, just not ruining the next side of the paper. However, you can still see some of the areas through, especially the darker colors, the black and the brown really did it didn't bleed through completely, but there's a tinge. You can definitely make out that it's from, what it is. But other than that, I don't see a big issue with that, because like I said, these markers, they're incredible, so I don't really mind the bleed through a little bit. With these paint pens as well, you can cover anything, so extremely fun. I love mixed media. I don't know if I mentioned, but I mainly make mixed media art, so this is extremely up my alley. I'm so excited about these materials, and I will definitely be using them in my sketchbook processes. I also want to mention that one of the pupe marker pens came, so the black marker pen, the lid doesn't snap on completely, which I don't really mind. It's not the worst issue in the world or anything like that. Everything works. Every single color was juicy and didn't have an issue. Neither with these paint markers. Everything was very consistent. I think that is the main word, consistency. I mean, there was no other issues literally other than that one marker pen not snapping on quite right. So yeah, other than that, everything about these markers, the paint pens, is perfect. Here I'm testing out the paint pens, which is, I must say it was a struggle getting used to them. Also, you can see that I changed the nibs on a couple of the colors just so that I could lay the areas a bit more smoother and a bit quicker. And yes, the green and the brown. So for this painting, I just wanted to kind of test these markers out. I did the sketch quite big. I didn't try and make it too small or detailed. I just wanted to kind of lay some flat colors. Like I mentioned, this set comes with 24 colors, so there's not that many different tones. However, the colors are extremely bright and colorful, so it shouldn't be that hard to make them work. But for me, it was a little bit difficult because I couldn't really figure out how to blend them properly, so that was one of the downsides for me myself. But other than that, I love these pens. They're so consistent and it's so nice to see. Another thing I noticed, when you do one or two layers, these paint pens are a little bit different to others that I've tried. These dry pretty matte. You can see in the sheen, there's not much of a sheen other than the black, I think, because there was quite a bit of layers on there. But other than that, all the other colors, the purple and the red and the green, everything's so matte, which was actually quite interesting because they're not acrylic, so they're literally, they're advertised as paint markers, so it's quite interesting. It's easier to blend colors if they're similar, so you can see the white and this peachy color on the petals. I managed to kind of blend it a little bit still leaving quite a texture on it, but like I mentioned, I don't really mind. I love the messy look sometimes, so it's not the biggest issue for me. Okay, so I'm gonna add this extra footage. I did some more drawings and like testings a few days later, just so that I could, you know, kind of mess around, and I really like this footage, so I thought I'd add it into this as well. I scribbled some doodles and I went to town on it. I tried making all these like marks and adding these colors. I used quite a limited color palette. I didn't really go too crazy with all the colors or anything like that. It's very simple, quick doodles, but I just kind of wanted to show a bit more how these markers work and how amazing they are. I must say, I think these are officially my favorite art supplies of the summer, because they're just so fun and they're so easy to use. You just literally just got to open the pack, or if you've got them loose in a jar, which is also really fun, having them in a cute little jar just so that you can access them straight up. You don't have to faff around with the case. The case is nice, it comes quite compact, so it looks like way more markers than if you have them loose in a jar, which is actually quite funny. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of like test them out a little bit more, and I must say I love these. They lay down and cover like a larger area so nicely and so quickly with no issues, no like give back. And I've tried these markers on 2 different papers. I'll insert a little picture here. And yeah, on this Ohuhu book paper, they literally don't bleed through almost at all. However, I've got this tiny little sketchbook called the Sea White of Brighton, I think like a little pocket sketchbook, and on that paper they do bleed, but only a tiny little bit. The light colors don't show up at all, the darker colors do, but other than that, they're honestly amazing. And then I'm going in with these paint pens again to give in these extra little bits of detail and these highlights and everything nice. And yeah, I'm in such an awe. Thank you so much to Ohuhu for sending me these. I'll leave a couple links in the description for you to check out if you want to get these yourself. These are not sponsored, but I do definitely suggest these to anybody to try because they're absolutely incredible. I'm so excited to have these. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everything. And yeah, thank you so much to Ohuhu again. I hope everybody has a lovely summer, and yeah, see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye guys.